of Major League Baseball, including the minor leagues, like I don't even know if there's 10 of us that are a uniform coach.
Ashley, it's your pitch. Fans, let's hear it for Ashley Stephenson and Buck Martinez.
I was learning of her as just this absolutely dominant force in women's baseball and had been for over 2 decades.
She taught me a lot about what I know on the field now, and she taught me how to win.
Where she makes you want to be a better player, right?
My name's Ashley Stephenson. I'm 42 years old, grew up in Mississauga, Ontario, was part of the national team for 15 years as a player, 4 years as a coach, and now I coach in the minor league system with the Toronto Blue Jays. I was 4 years old. My dad, a buddy of his, asked if he would help coach. And he said, well, only if one of my kids could play. My brother was only 2, so he wasn't an option. So I was 4 years old. You were supposed to be 5. I think there was a little bit of fibbing happening on the registration form. And then, I started playing T-ball when I was 4 years old.
So my name's Mary-Lena Florio, or Mena, as most people call me. I played for the national team for 2 years, and then I played with Baseball Ontario. I'm still playing with Baseball Ontario.
My name is Brittany Chan, C-H-A-N. I am a former teammate of Ashley Stephenson.
I started playing baseball because my older brother played. I grew up watching him at the park, and then one day, I want to try it. Yeah, I've been playing since.
My mother had originally signed up my brother for baseball, actually softball. And when my dad found out, he said, no, he's going to play baseball. But it turns out that they didn't have enough players on his team. So I ended up getting roped into baseball, never having any interest in it, and I ended up loving it. So that was at the age of 12, played down a couple years in house league with my brother, and from there I haven't stopped playing.
Yeah, after T-ball, I did play softball for 1 year, just because that was the natural progression. There wasn't a lot of women's baseball around. Most of my career at shortstop, I think I had the most impact at shortstop, and honestly, I probably learned the most about the game there, just because the expectation to be a leader on the field.
She rips this one to third. What a stop by Stephenson, who goes across the diamond for the out to open the ball game. What a play.
When I was playing, there was no opportunity. There was basically no women that you saw in baseball. If you did, they would maybe be like a reporter on the sideline or something like that, or if I watched Sports Desk, they'd be reporting on baseball, but nobody I saw ever in a uniform or anything like that. And when I was a kid, I didn't really notice those obstacles. Like we just went about our business. You have the right to play, and you should play if you love it and you want to play. And so I grew up with that mentality. And so later on, you certainly see more obstacles as you get older. Now, as I've moved to a coaching role, certainly in professional baseball, you see that there's a lot of differences, and opportunities certainly are more limited. But I played hockey, like I mentioned, and lots of my hockey teammates told me that they're playing baseball. So I had never even heard of women's baseball before.
Tell someone you play baseball, and the next sentence they say how's softball season going? But every single year I signed up, they tried to switch me into softball. My father got a call literally every single year asking, did you guys mean to sign up for softball? And we're like, nope, she's been playing this org since she was 8.
Yeah, in baseball, faced probably some more challenges. And I think that's because the assumption was that we should be playing softball. Whereas hockey, it's still the same game. It's men's hockey and women's hockey, but it's still hockey. It felt like if you're playing baseball, it almost felt like you were intruding on a man's sport because there was softball, and it was we should have been playing that.
I would say that we're starting to do a better job. I think beforehand it was, boys play baseball, girls play softball.
I think it's ingrained in people that baseball is for men and softball is for women, when that's definitely not the case. We're definitely behind, but I think the gap is closing now, which is good.
Well, now you're starting to see the change in the game, that a lot of girls are being included now. There are definitely huge efforts, happening from, the MLB, grassroots and all that stuff, just to include more girls in baseball. That, baseball is not a boys' baseball thing. It is a baseball for all type of scenario.
2-run score. Digging for third, there is Ashley Stephenson.
I was 14 the first time I met Ash. 14 or 15, I went out to play on the older team for our league play. And I was my first time playing with them. No one really talked to me because no one knew who I was. So I kind of walked onto the field a little bit nervous, and she came up to me right away and said hey, what's your name? Who are you? And I said, hey, I'm Mena. She said okay, how old are you? I was oh, I'm 15. She said, oh, I'm double your age. Let's go play catch. So that's the first memory I ever had of Ash, and it's been great since.
My first practice, I was 15, just about to turn 16, and I had never seen other girls play baseball before. It was like a new experience, and I hadn't been invited to this development practice. And we were playing, I think we were doing batting practice, and we were, made to run out the last hit that we had. And I think I hit a ground ball to probably Ash or someone else, got hosed, and all I hear is, "You're out, Brenda." And I had no idea who Brenda was, and come to learn that that was a reference from A League of Their Own. But I was mad because I was like, why does she keep calling me Brenda, and why am I still out every time? So that was the first time I met Ash, and I was like, I like her. She's a lot. She's amazing.
League of Their Own, that's crazy that you brought that up, because my friends and I quote that movie all the time. When Penny Marshall passed away, our little group chat of teammates were messaging, and like, she changed the way women could see themselves playing baseball. Like, obviously the skirts are something that we didn't want to play with, but it's different time and everything like that. But for women to have an opportunity to do that, and I've had an opportunity to meet some of those women later in life, and lots of them are 90 plus years old, and to see the passion they still have for baseball and the passion that they have for getting a women's league professionally going again is amazing. But that movie, everybody always asks, like, when you fill out forms, like, favorite movie, favorite color, what's your number, whatever, walk-up song, and every single time, favorite movie, like, it's A League of Their Own. And I know I watched it when I was 10 years old, and if I see it on the TV, I'll still watch it. I think when people say, like, if you can see it, you can be it, there was just no representation. Women were not on TV playing almost any sport, never mind baseball. And I had an opportunity to see that, and often marveled at what it would be like to be a professional athlete myself. This is a long time coming. Like, you think of the Professional Women's Soccer League in Canada that started in NWSL, that's happening in the US, the WNBA, tennis and the things that, like, Serena Williams has done to change, like, women's tennis, and it's been incredible. Like, women's sports is starting to get elevated, and I think that is really incredible. Even though baseball seems to be a couple steps behind, it's starting to get there. We're jumping on a moving train now, and it's pretty exciting to have a professional league stick with it and support it, and they find ways to elevate women's sports, including baseball, and they give it a chance to really grow and succeed. If you look at men's sports, so many of them need 20, 30 years to actually grow a huge fan base, to make real money. But in women's sports, it's like, oh, they're not making any money 2 years in, and it's like, oh, cancel it. Double standards a lot of the time. So give it time, put the investment there, the athletes are there, and I really hope it succeeds.
I mean, she's a legend in Canadian baseball, not necessarily men's or women's, just Canadian baseball in general. Ashley's a legend.
She's become kind of synonymous with women's baseball for me.
Later in my career, a few people said to me, like, you think you're going to go into the Hall? And literally, like, I was stunned the first time someone said that to me, and I was like, no, why would I go in there? And there was all kinds of criteria that I didn't meet because I had never played professionally. Hopefully a few years ago, the Hall of Fame committee restructured a little bit about what actually would allow athletes to get inducted. And those changed, which was huge, because that allowed women to get in. Like, none of us have played professionally because that was never an option for us. And
I'm Scott Crawford, the Director of Operations here at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. I've been doing this since 2000. Ashley's a legend. I've known her, for 20 plus years. And, she played on the first team, and it's just one of those people that you get to know and you remember the name because she does so much and does a great job.
My name's Lindsay Earle. I'm the Care of Collections and Visitor Engagement Supervisor here at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Her impact was through her her desire to win and succeed, but her desire to give women a platform in baseball as well.
It's just one of those things where she's always active, even after her playing days, and really pushing for women's sports in general, not just women's baseball, but all women's sports in general, which is really key.
I mean, her skills on the field were the thing that I think first put her over the edge. She was inducted as a player, so that's primarily what the nominations committee was looking at. But her advocacy for the game as well is also something that makes her really important.
Oh, that she's like the best baseball player I've ever seen. Like, she's super intense, competitive, right? But she's really also kind and wants you know, she pushes all her teammates to do better.
Yeah, I mean, she was considered the leader of the team. Again, she was one of the originals that back in 2004 when it was just starting and no one knew sort of what was going to happen with women's baseball. They had the international tournament held here in Canada, which is really cool that the first one was held here. And it's just one of those things where she was always passionate about the game, always a leader. When she was young, she looked up to the older women, they helped her, but she totally reversed it. When she was older, she really helped the younger girls and first-year girls on the team, so it was key.
Ashley's always been the leader, the person that is kind of like the spokesperson for our sport. It was the person that she was that made her the right person to really lead the charge for women's baseball in Canada. It was World Cup in 2012, and I think it was the last game that we were playing, and she was at third base at the time, and there was this rocket of a ball lasered at her, and there was no chance that she was going to stop it with her gloves, so she literally went down hockey style on her knee and just blocked it with her body. Like, you don't do that on a ground ball, and I remember that, like, Ash would do anything just to make a play. So that stuck in my mind. Out of all the plays that happened that year, I was like, she would do anything, you know, to compete and to win.
I think when I first started growing up, like playing with her, she was a little bit scary. So I was always a little bit nervous being with her. She was very, very fiery. As she moved more into a coaching role, she definitely kind of calmed down, and like the way that she's able to convey her thoughts and coach in different ways depending on the person she's working with is huge.
She's sort of she's the best that ever played in the women's national team program. Fergie's the greatest to ever play Major League Baseball, along with Larry Walker. So I think you can combine those ones and just say, you know, that they're the best of their kind and their generation, and you can group them together.
I taught at this school called Dr. Frank Hayden Secondary School in Burlington. An exam in the morning, and like any good teacher, I was procrastinating in the afternoon. I didn't want to mark all of those exams, so I decided to head to our fitness center for a quick workout, and I was like, okay, this will make me feel better. That didn't happen because I know probably one of the coolest phone calls I've ever had. The gentleman who runs the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, his name is Scott, and he called me, and he's called me for a number of different things before, but I thought he was maybe calling to ask me like if I could give him anything to put in the hall for like International Women's Day or something like. And then he told me that I was being inducted, and I was speechless at the beginning, which doesn't happen a lot. And then he was like, are you there? Had a couple other things to say, and then he was like, I can't post that on social media. You're gonna have to keep it clean. Can you tell me something that I could post?
You could tell when there's surprise and really honor because they sort of delay their answers, right? You delay their response, and I got a bit of a delay from Ash, and it was pretty cool to hear.
Time in women's sports. There's a huge step to be taken in baseball still, but this is a step in the right direction for them to be able to recognize women. So for the committee, this is like honestly a true honor for me, and I really hope young girls one day have the experience that I've had the last couple of days. So thank you.
For me personally, it was really cool, but I think for women's baseball, it was even more important because like we were finally getting some recognition, like from our own governing body, like that this is important. What you do matters. We're thankful for what you do. We're proud of what you do. For women's baseball, I was actually even more proud than just for myself because I knew I played because I love to play. That stuff has just always been cherry on top, but for us as a collective and all the women that I played with and who will never get that honor, it meant something, I think, for all of us.
That was such a special day, I think. It kind of felt surreal being surrounded by, you know, who we consider as baseball gods, and right there is Ashley as she should be. Oh, I mean, there's that whole line of, you know, if you can see her, you can be her. And that certainly is the case for all of us, right? I think once you're involved in women's baseball, it's kind of your responsibility. You know, it's not, you're not doing this for you. You're doing this for the future generations of, you know, coaches and players. So it's huge to have Ashley be there and be that person, that spokesperson, and the person that's trailblazing for us in Canada.
It was absolutely fantastic to see the amount of people that turned up for her. I think she got the loudest applause out of everyone that was there. Her speech was incredibly inspiring. It shook a lot of people. I think it means a lot. I think it's really important to have that representation in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not only just her playing career as well. Like what she's doing with the Jays now is absolutely incredible, and everything she did with Baseball Canada when she was a part of it was great too.
The program grows more history. There's a Women's World Cup every other year. It's just going to grow the game, and more players are playing, and the ball's going to get better, and longevity is going to get more and more. And there's been more families come in, and they have boys and girls. You always think, again, the boys are playing baseball and the girls are playing softball. I mean, they might not know about the program and the women's they play baseball already, but they're like, oh, well, what can I do? I can't play baseball anymore. And we're like, yeah, like there's actually a program and teams that young daughters or young women come in, and you're like, you can do this, and that it has been done, and there's women in our Hall of Fame for playing baseball. No, not softball, baseball. To show, and then you go over and you can show them the stuff from Ashley's jersey and Amanda's items and just Baseball Canada women national team items that we have in our collection. And it's just one thing that's going to keep growing.
So I retired from playing in 2018 after the World Cup. I immediately joined the national team coaching staff in 2019, which I knew I wanted to do right away. I knew I wanted to get into coaching immediately after retiring from playing. And then my coach at the time, Andre Lachance, he actually suggested I go to this program that's provided by the MLB. It's called Take the Field. And its whole goal is to get more women in the game there. So it was like a 3-day event out in San Diego. And I was able to talk to different people involved with the MLB. I did that, and I wasn't ready to quit teaching and to move into coaching. So I continued to coach with the national team. I continued to coach with Team Ontario, our provincial program, and I was still teaching. Really, the big break happened when the woman who was in charge of that, Liz Ben, who she worked at the MLB, and I actually know her. She's from Toronto, and I played with her on Team Ontario a little bit. Really smart woman, but she decided during the lockout, there's a lot of GMs or AGMs who maybe don't have a ton going on because of the lockout. So she took all of our cover letters and resumes, which we needed in order to apply to get into this program, and she just like blanket sent them to all of the GMs and AGMs, and I was one of the very few women from Canada who was part of the program, and mine landed on the desk as of Joe Sheehan, who's assistant general manager with the Jays, and he was sifting through them, and he saw that there was a Canadian, and I had some connections and ties with the amateur side of baseball with the Jays, and so I got a phone call. I was not sure if it was real at first, and then 3 years ago, my first season was in Vancouver. I love the game so much. It's fun, and I just didn't want it to be over. Like, everybody's time playing comes to an end. Like, time will always catch up to you. I thought I could probably still play a little bit, but maybe like that's just a little bit of ego. I still probably think I can play, but I knew it was done. And honestly, like, there was a lot of changes that were happening in women's sports and women's baseball, and I thought I could be more impactful on the other side of in all of Major League Baseball, including the minor leagues. Like, I don't even know if there's 10 of us that are a uniform coach. I don't want people just to hire me because I'm a woman. I want people to hire me because I'm good at my job and I'm knowledgeable and I am a good coach. But we also have to help get women to that point. You can't just say, well, there's no women who can do that. Well, you're right, because there's a ton of barriers and obstacles that are preventing us from doing that. So how do you, help women get to that point so that there can be more of us?
Female coaches and athletes are able to do, like, there's not much difference between men and women, apart from some of the physical stuff, sure. I think in terms of experience, expertise, knowledge, and all that stuff, like, we're right there with the men. Like, we're baseball fans, we're baseball players, we're baseball coaches, and there shouldn't be anything to stop us.
She is now part of the Blue Jays organization on the Vancouver Canadians coaching staff and continues to make an impact on baseball in this country with her commitment to getting more girls playing and loving the game. With us to throw out today's ceremonial first pitch on Canada Day, please welcome 2024 Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame inductee, Ashley Stephenson.
She was one of the trailblazers in all of baseball. First woman for the national team program into the Hall of Fame. Coaching, you know, her hometown Blue Jays, being the first female coach hired by the Blue Jays. History is a big thing in baseball. We're in the baseball museum, so we really care about history and the firsts and historic items. And for Ashley, she did a lot of firsts.